In Amish communities, it is not unusual for two brothers from one family to marry two sisters from another. The community approves, the church allows it, and the consequences for both families last for generations. Here is exactly what happens when Amish siblings marry siblings. How it begins. It begins the same way every Amish courtship begins. At a Sunday night singing, two brothers from the Miller family attend a singing in the next district. Across the table sit two sisters from the Yoder family. The brothers notice the sisters notice the brothers. Nothing is said that first night, but something shifts. The older brother mentions the older sister on the ride home. The younger brother says nothing but remembers the younger sister's face. The following Sunday, both brothers find reasons to attend another singing in that same district. Not with a plan, not with family arrangement, just two brothers, two sisters, and the slow pull of attraction developing in parallel. The courtship. The older brother moves first. He asks the older Yoder sister for a buggy ride home after the singing. She says yes. They talk for 2 hours on the ride and another hour on her porch. He returns the following week. Within a month, they are courting formally. The younger brother sees the younger Yoder sister at the next singing. He finally approaches her between songs. He asks for a ride home the following week. She agrees. Now both brothers are courting both sisters simultaneously. Neither pair knows yet what the other is doing. Just quiet weekly visits that slowly deepen into something serious. Both relationships develop. Within a few months, both courtships are progressing seriously. At some point, the sisters compare notes. They are living in the same house. One evening, after their visitors leave, they sit at the kitchen table and realize what is happening. Both are being courted by brothers from the same family. On the Miller side, the brothers have a similar conversation. The older brother mentions he is serious about the Yoder girl. The younger admits he has been visiting her sister. Both families now know what neither planned. The courtships that were private are now quietly public. Everyone is watching to see how serious this becomes. Community reaction. When word spreads through the community that both Miller brothers are courting both Yoder sisters, the reaction is immediate and mostly positive. People talk about it at church, fellowship meals. Women discuss it at quilting bees. Men mention it while working together at barn raisings. The consensus is warm. Two families joining through double marriage is seen as a strengthening of community bonds. It is not scandalous. It is not unusual. It has happened before in this community and in communities across every Amish settlement in America. Older members remember other instances. A grandfather mentions that his own father's brother married his mother's sister decades ago. The pattern is familiar. Some community members express mild concern about the genetic implications of the children these couples will produce, being double cousins. But this concern is quiet and private. It does not rise to the level of opposition. The dominant feeling is that two strong Amish families are becoming one extended family unit. That is considered a good thing. The community watches with interest and waits for the formal announcements that will confirm what everyone already suspects. Church response. The Amish church has no rule against two brothers marrying two sisters from another family. This is not the same as marrying a blood relative. The two families are unrelated. The church absolutely forbids marriage between first cousins and between any blood relatives. But two brothers marrying two unrelated sisters is entirely acceptable. When the couples approach their bishop to discuss marriage, he raises no objection. He counsels each couple individually as he would any couple preparing for marriage. He confirms they have each been baptized. He confirms they are members in good standing. He confirms they understand the lifelong commitment of Amish marriage. He may gently note that their children will be double cousins and encourage them to be aware of the genetic considerations this creates. But he does not discourage the marriages. He blesses them. The church announcement of the upcoming weddings is made on the same Sunday for both couples. The congregation receives the news with visible pleasure. Two weddings from two beloved families happening together is cause for celebration. Everyone immediately begins planning to attend. The double wedding. Amish double weddings are rare, but they do happen. When two brothers marry two sisters from the same family, a double wedding is the natural outcome. Both ceremonies take place on the same day. usually a Tuesday or Thursday in late autumn after the harvest is complete. The host location must be large enough to accommodate the combined guest lists of both families. That means a barn, a very large barn. Attendance at an Amish wedding is already substantial. A double wedding draws even larger crowds. 300 to 500 people arrive throughout the day. The service begins at 8 in the morning. Ministers preach for several hours. The vows for the first couple are exchanged, then the vows for the second couple. The congregation witnesses both marriages in a single service. Afterward, the wedding feast begins. Tables are set with food prepared by dozens of women from both families and the broader community over the previous 2 days. The meal lasts for hours. People eat in shifts. The celebration continues into the evening. By nightfall, 2 brothers have become husbands and 2 sisters have become wives. Both families have permanently merged. Farm and land arrangements. After the double wedding, practical questions arise immediately. Where will each couple live? In Amish communities, the husband is expected to establish his own household. The older brother typically inherits or purchases land adjacent to his parents' farm. The younger brother may do the same on the other side or further down the road. When 2 brothers marry into the same family, the land arrangements often reflect that connection. The Yoder father may help his sons-in-law establish farms near each other. The Miller father may divide his property to give each son a starting point. The result is frequently 2 households within close proximity of each other, sometimes on the same road, sometimes sharing a fence line. This proximity is not accidental. Both families understand that keeping the couples close serves everyone. The brothers can share equipment, labor, and resources. The sisters can support each other through pregnancy, childbirth, and the demands of managing large households. The farms develop in parallel the same way the courtships did, side by side, separate but deeply connected. The land itself reflects the family bond that the double marriage created. 2 sisters, 1 neighborhood. For the 2 sisters, the double marriage means they never truly leave each other. In a typical Amish marriage, a woman leaves her family home and moves into her husband's household. She may live miles from her sisters. She sees them at church every other Sunday and at community events. But the daily closeness of growing up together is gone. When 2 sisters marry 2 brothers and settle near each other, that closeness continues. They visit each other without needing a buggy ride. They cook together on busy canning days. They watch each other's children when one is ill or overwhelmed. They share recipes, fabric, seeds from the garden, and the kind of conversation that only sisters can have. The proximity transforms what could have been a painful separation into a continuation of the sisterhood they grew up with. They are now neighbors and sisters-in-law simultaneously. Their children grow up together as playmates before they are old enough to understand that they are something more than ordinary cousins. The 2 households function almost as one extended unit. Meals are sometimes shared. Work frolics happen between the 2 farms. The sisters build a shared life that neither would have had if they had married into separate families far apart. What makes this arrangement especially powerful is that neither sister faces the hardest moments of Amish womanhood alone. When the first baby arrives, the other sister is a short walk away. She comes without being asked. She brings food. She sits with the new mother through the exhausting early weeks. When illness strikes a household, the other sister steps in to manage the kitchen and the children without disruption. When grief comes, as it inevitably does in large families, the sisters grieve together the way they always have, side by side. The double marriage did not just unite 2 brothers with 2 sisters, it ensured that 2 women who grew up sharing everything would continue sharing everything for the rest of their lives. The double cousin children. When 2 brothers from one family marry 2 sisters from another family, the children born to these couples are double cousins. This is a specific genetic relationship. Ordinary cousins share approximately 12.5% of their DNA. Double cousins share approximately 25%. That is the same percentage shared by half-siblings. Double cousins look more alike than ordinary cousins. They may have similar facial features, similar build, similar coloring. Growing up, they notice the resemblance but do not always understand why it is stronger than what they see between other cousins in the community. Parents explain it simply. Your fathers are brothers. Your mothers are sisters. That makes you closer than regular cousins. The children accept this without concern. In their daily lives, they are simply close family. They attend the same one-room schoolhouse. They sit together at church. They work alongside each other on both farms from a young age. The genetic reality is a background fact, not a defining feature of their relationships. The community is aware of the double cousin dynamic and generally unconcerned. The families involved are unrelated. The genetic overlap, while greater than typical cousins, does not rise to the level that the church or community considers problematic. It is noted, it is understood, and then life continues. What the double cousin children experience that ordinary cousins do not is a sense of family so dense it is almost impossible to describe to outsiders. Every gathering involves people who are simultaneously neighbors, cousins, and the children of siblings. Every family event draws from both households equally. Birthdays, church hosting days, harvest seasons, and winter evenings all happen with the same core group of faces present. The double cousins grow up knowing each other better than most siblings in English families know each other. They share grandparents on both sides who are already connected through the double marriage. They share aunts and uncles who overlap in ways that ordinary family trees do not produce. By the time these children reach courting age themselves, they carry a family identity so deeply rooted in both the Miller and Yoder lines that their sense of belonging to the community is stronger than almost anyone around them. Why this pattern repeats? Two brothers marrying two sisters from the same family is not a rare accident in Amish communities. It is a pattern that repeats across generations and across settlements for reasons deeply rooted in how Amish social life works. The marriage pool is small. Every Amish person must marry another baptized Amish member. In a given district, that pool contains perhaps 30 to 50 eligible young people. When brothers and sisters from two families begin socializing at the same singings, attending the same church services, and working at the same community events, attraction developing in parallel is not surprising. It is almost inevitable given enough time and proximity. The pattern also repeats because it works. Families that have joined through double sibling marriage report stronger bonds, more cooperative farming arrangements, and deeper community integration than families connected through single marriages. The practical benefits reinforce the emotional ones. When a family knows that their son's wife's sister is married to their other son, the extended family network becomes unusually tight. Everyone is accountable to everyone else. Everyone supports everyone else. The community as a whole benefits from these dense family connections because they create webs of mutual obligation and support that hold the community together. This is why the pattern repeats, not because it is planned, not because families arrange it, but because Amish community life naturally produces the conditions in which two brothers and two sisters find each other, fall for each other, and build lives together that reflect the values their families always shared. What happens when Amish siblings marry siblings from another family is a story about community, practicality, and the way Amish social life naturally pulls families together. It begins at a singing where brothers notice sisters across a table. It develops through parallel courtships that neither couple plans to mirror the other. It becomes public knowledge within both families before any formal announcement is made. The community receives it warmly. The church blesses it without hesitation. The double wedding brings 300 to 500 people together to celebrate two families permanently merging into one. After the wedding, practical arrangements place the two couples near each other. Brothers share land and equipment. Sisters share daily life and support. The proximity that the double marriage creates is not a burden. It is one of its greatest benefits. The sisters who grew up together continue living as neighbors. The brothers who grew up together continue working as partners. And the children born to both couples grow up as double cousins, sharing more DNA than ordinary cousins, looking more alike than strangers would expect, and building bonds that reflect the unusual closeness of their parents' connected marriages. The pattern repeats across Amish communities because it works. Small marriage pools, shared social spaces, and the natural pull of attraction mean that two brothers falling for two sisters from the same family is not a coincidence.